I am officially declaring 2017 the year of Metalcore. There's been so many great releases already, and so many more that are coming that I can't even keep up with them. I mean, the one that really caught me by surprise recently is Greeley Estates dropping a brand new EP called Calling All the Hopeless. Now, the reason I say that this caught me by surprise is because Greeley Estates kind of disappeared off the face of the earth after their last EP, Devil's Son, and they played a few shows here and there. They popped up on social media occasionally, but really, you'd never really heard from them. Most recently, when I had last checked in on them, their Twitter account, for instance, seemed to be hacked or taken over by something completely different. So I was not expecting them. If anything, I was expecting an announcement or something saying that they had broken up or anything. So this really kind of surprised me in a good way, because they've been one of my favorite bands that I've listened to. So I'm extremely hopeful for this EP, and I'm very, very excited. I was very happy to get to listen to this, and you know, it's probably one of my favorite works from them so far. Calling All the Hopeless is definitely Greeley Estates. It's everything that I've loved about the band. It's got these really, really heavy riffs, and it's backed by these very melodic and catchy choruses. And it's something that in metalcore that Greeley Estates has always done very well. Then I think that they really kind of brought everything back on this album. I think Devil's Son kind of steered a little bit too much into the melodrama side of things, but compared to especially the album previous to that, The Narrow Road, which was a much heavier album, and I know that was on purpose. They were releasing them as dual EPs, giving a different side of the band, but I just think Devil's Son, unfortunately, didn't really do as well as they had in the past, especially with those melodic parts. It kind of felt more like their early work, which unfortunately I'm not a huge fan of in general. Not saying that they have to be heavy. Again, I love their melodic stuff. It's just that I don't think it worked as well. But on here, Calling All the Hopeless, everything just comes together, and it's really a great return for this band. And I mean, everything is just got this layered sense of darkness to it, which is another thing I've always liked about them, is that despite all the melodic parts and the catchy parts and everything, it's always kind of had this sense of darkness to it, and it's kind of something that I'm drawn to in general. It just gives a layer of atmosphere and intrigue to otherwise benign lyrics, and I just think that they did a great job with that and bringing that back on this album, Calling All the Hopeless. The opening track, Calling All the Hopeless, the title track, really wastes no time introducing you to this sound that they're going for, what this EP is going to be like. It's almost kind of genty in a way, but what I like is the fact that it doesn't continue through the album, and that part at least. It's got this great chorus that kind of juxtaposes the heaviness of the guitar work and the drumming and everything with this very hopeful message. And that's kind of a theme that carries on throughout this entire album, despite dealing with some dark themes and kind of having, again, that kind of edge to everything. It is a hopeful album overall. A lot of the messages here are positive in a lot of ways, and it's nice to see that kind of contrast between the heavy music and this bright and really positive message that they're going for. The song Kill For You features this really interesting vocal delivery from Ryan Zimmerman. It's this weird staccato kind of flow, and it just kind of helps elevate this song over everything else, I feel. It's a moment that kind of sticks out in your head, and something he really hasn't done much of before, and it's interesting to see him kind of push himself and try a different form of delivery, and just to try to push his vocals in a direction that we really haven't seen so much before, and I think he did an excellent job, and it helps kind of make that song really stand out on this EP. The song Liminal Space really features this chorus that's going to stay stuck in your head. And again, throughout this album, it features a positive message overall. And a lot of these songs are about kind of changing your past and becoming something better than who you were, and just saving yourself from being in a very dark place. So the track, the title of this EP, Calling All the Hopeless, really is very apt for the EP itself, just because they do really carry that theme throughout these songs, and it's kind of a nice change of pace from a lot of other bands that might take a heavy track or a darker track, I would say, and just twist it into something and try to just make it about brutality or something. I mean, metalcore does generally lean into the positivity side of things, but it's nice to hear them do it on here. My favorite track off of this is called The Vacancy, and it almost sounds like the riff off of this is really interesting to me. It's something completely different than they've really ever done in the past. It's a mix of kind of choppy and heavy, almost leaning to something I would say influenced by nu metal, but not quite there. I really enjoy it, the way they did the electronic work on here as well. It flows nicely, it doesn't feel out of place, it doesn't feel unnecessary, and it just works with the song itself and kind of adds to the song versus just making the song feel busy. And it's a pretty heavy track overall too, which is another thing that I generally am drawn to and something that I like about it. Lyrically, again, it's definitely a semi-positive message. It's really about not running away from your problems and dealing with things and facing things head on versus just trying to hide from them and ignore things. All in all, Calling All the Hopeless is a real return for this band. It's a triumphant return, and it's some of the best work that they've done to date. It kind of blends everything that they've done well into one single short EP, which is probably the only downside is the length. I mean, I was hoping that we would get a full-length album. Hopefully we'll have some more music from them soon, because I mean, this has really left me wanting more just because of how well it is. And it is kind of a mix of everything Greeley Estates. If I was going to introduce somebody to Greeley Estates, probably would point to this EP just because of how it mixes everything from No Rain, No Rainbow, for instance, with that heaviness and the sheer brutality of it, and Go West Young Man with the more melodic side of things. And I think that's something that Narrow Road did actually very well, but it was definitely more on the heavier side of things. I think this kind of mixes things a little bit better and is a better sense of who they are as a band. And it's really everything that metalcore should be. It's heavy, it's melodic, it's catchy, it's just really a great EP, and I've been listening to this non-stop. I'd recommend it for metalcore fans. I'd recommend, if you like Greeley Estates, I think you're really going to be pleasantly surprised with this EP, and again, I think you're going to be left wanting more with this. If you're a fan of heavy music, you'll probably find something on here you'd like. If you're more into the more melodic side of things, you'll find something that you like. It's just a really a solid EP overall, and for the band to kind of just come back out of nowhere with releasing something like this, it's absolutely just great to see. Thank you so much for watching the video review of Greeley Estates' Calling All the Hopeless EP. I hope you like what you saw. Don't forget to like this video. Leave me a comment down below. Have you heard this EP? What do you think of it? Do you like Greeley Estates? What are your feelings on the band as a whole? What do you want to see me review next? Also, follow me on social media, on Twitter at Metalloud, Instagram Metal_Loud, and there's a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Metalloud, just to make sure you stay up to date with all things Metalloud.